Beginning by Beis Halacha Aleph, Hilchos Korban Pesach. Ein Shechten is a Pesach alon menuyov. You Korban Pesach for somebody who was counted on it. Let's go to the Peirush below. Menuyim, those who are counted are the people who actually own the Korban, the offering. That usually an offering is only owned by one person. The Korban Pesach, you can have many people be partners in it. And when it was slaughtered, it has to be slaughtered for them. And they're the only ones that are allowed to eat from it, as we find in Zvachim 56b. Shemema, as it says, and we learn it to mean that if there isn't enough people in the house to eat the whole Paschal lamb, the whole Korban, then you can add people. So you can bring his neighbor who's close to him, with the numbering of souls. Each person according to his ability to eat, should be counted. Here we're using the word tochaisu. We'll see it has a different meaning as well on the sheep. Tell us that it's you can only count yourself on it when it's alive, not after it's been slaughtered. As we find in Psochim 89a, before the shlit, you can add others, but afterwards you can't do so. As well as you learn that you can separate from it as long as the original two remain on it. Now, the source of this is in Psochim 61a, and the posik that we mentioned before. The Rashi says "b'michsas" means an amount and the number. It says in the posik as "michsas ha'erkin kecho," the amount of the value of the person. That's how much he has to pay if he says, "My value is to the Beis Hamikdash." Ve'ela misman ala Pesach. These people who count themselves on the Pesach, who number themselves on the Pesach, they are called the members of the group. Since in Hilchos Korban Pesach we have many times the word b'nei chabur, therefore the Rambam want to make clear that we're talking about this group of people. Now we'll go to Halacha Beis. And then Dafn Daled Hilchos Korban Pesach Perek Beis Halacha Beis. Yochid sheshochat es haPesach la'atzmai kosher. Yochid who slaughtered the Korban Pesach for himself alone is kosher. So now, even though the Pesach is usually for a group, still a Yochid can slaughter for himself, with the condition he has to be able to eat all of it. So you might say to eat a whole sheep. Remember, after it can be 8-day-old sheep. But to begin with, it's better not to do it on one person on the entire sheep, because it says Ya'asu oisoi. The posuk seems to infer they shall make it the Korban Pesach. They is plural. Mishlim Sochim is a disagreement between the Tanoim. Rabbi is of the opinion that Yochid cannot bring a Korban Pesach for himself because it says you cannot bring a Korban Pesach alone in your gates. And he learns Be'echod, meaning alone. Rabbi Yossi permits you, an individual, to slaughter for himself, even to begin with, if he can eat it all. Vice versa, a chabura of 100 people, that they can't eat all of it, they can't bring a Korban Pesach because somebody has to be able to eat a kezayis of the Korban Pesach, one of the 100. Because a Mishnah questions, since the Rambam codifies the halacha like Rabbi Yossi, that you can one individual is permitted to bring a Korban Pesach, why does the Rambam add that you shouldn't do it to begin with? If that's the halacha, you're allowed to. It's not allowed to. And he answers, the answer in the name of Avram the son of the Rambam, that l'chatchila an individual can do so. But since it says in Pesach Mitzrayim, Kol Adas Yisrael Yasu Oisoi, that all of Klal Yisrael has to make the Korban Pesach, therefore we don't want an individual to do it even by Pesach Doros. The Kesef Mishnah pushes off this concept because Rabbi Yossi doesn't understand it from the posuk of Yasu Oisoin, And where does Rambam come to say this posik when Rabbi Yossi disagrees with it? Therefore, the Mishnah cites the Gemara in Psochim 95a. The Rambam's of the opinion, like the Rachomim, he learned from Yasu Oisoin, they usually try to get many people, and you shouldn't slaughter the Korban Pesach for the individual. And Rambam is of the opinion that Rabbi Yossi also agrees with the Rachomim, that to begin with, one should not do it alone. And even though from the Rambam it would seem that only after the fact you do it for the individual, and according to Rabbi Yossi, you do it to begin with, he means to say that you can do it on the individual, even though Rabbi Yehuda says that that's forbidden. That's why he uses this language, that to begin with, it's preferable not to, because Rabbi Yehuda says it's forbidden. Mari Kurkis adds, from what the Gemara opinions, that one should not do the Pesach alone. It means you could do so because of Rabbi Yossi. But regarding Rabbi Yehuda, it's forbidden to do that alone. The Rambam writes a lotion of after the fact to inform us if he says slaughtered it on an individual who cannot eat the Korban Pesach, then it's possible. Because if they can't eat the kazayas of the Korban Pesach. The Rishonim disagreeing. What does the Rambam mean when he writes Yasu Oisoi? That you shouldn't slaughter to begin with on the individual. Sefer Birkas Havrom, it's brought down that Abaniyel Habavli explains that the posuk that's brought in the Gemara in 95a, it's by Pesach Sheni, and he learns like Tosus, according to Rabbi Yehuda, since there are too many people by Pesach Sheni, the posuk comes to tell us you still have to, even in Pesach Sheni, have a few people with you. And if you didn't find, you can bring Pesach Sheni on the Yochid. So Abdanil Abavli says, how could the Rambam prove from this posuk regarding Pesach Rishon? By Pesach Rishon, you can never find many people. It could be that it's forbidden, actually, in the first one, to slaughter on the Yochid. Avrom and Avrom answers that the Rambam learned the old sugis like Rabbi Yossi, and therefore you can bring a Korban Pesach on the Yochid for individual. The Mois is to tell us, with Pesach Rishon, there's an obligation to seek out to have others with you, even though you can bring it as an individual. The Kesef Mishnah Marikurk is of the opinion that we're talking about Pesach Sheni and Sefer Midbar, Pesach Rishon. We learn from the Sheni with a concept of if Sheni requires more than one person, certainly Pesach Rishon should require more than one person because it's easier to get. It shouldn't be any less onerous to do so.